Biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of animals and plants found on this planet, including the geographic locations they are found in.
5 ways on how human benefits from biodiversity.
Biodiversity ensures health and food security. Biodiversity underpins global nutrition and food security. Millions of species work together to provide us with a large array of fruits, vegetables, and animal products essential to a healthy and balanced diet. Every country has indigenous produce, such as wild greens and grains, which have adapted to local conditions, making them more resilient to pests and extreme weather. In the past, this produce provided much needed micronutrients for local populations. Unfortunately, however, the simplification of diets, processed foods, and poor access to food have led to poor quality diets. As a result, 1/3 of the world suffers from micronutrient deficiencies. 3 crops, including wheat, corn, and rice, provide almost 60% of total plant-based calories consumed by humans. This leads to reduced resiliency in our supply chains in our plates. People once understood that the conservation of species was crucial for healthy societies and ecosystems. We must ensure this knowledge remains part of our modern agricultural and food systems to prevent diet-related diseases and reduce the environmental impacts of feeding ourselves.
Biodiversity helps fight disease. Biodiversity protects ecosystems against infectious disease. Researchers have concluded the findings suggest that loss of species from an environment could have dangerous consequences for the spread and incidence of infections, including those that affect humans. Higher rates of biodiversity have been linked to an increase in human health. First, plants are essential for medicines. For example, 25% of drugs used in modern medicine are derived from rainforest plants, while 70% of cancer drugs are natural or synthetic products inspired by nature. This means that every time species goes extinct, we miss out on a potential new medicine. Second, biodiversity due to protected natural areas have been linked to lower instances of disease, such as Lyme and malaria. While the exact origin of the virus causing COVID-19 is still unknown, 60% for infectious disease originate from animals. Disease originate from wildlife. As human activities encroach upon the natural world through deforestation and urbanization, we reduce the size and number of ecosystems. As a result, animals live in a closer quarters with one another and with humans, creating ideal conditions for the spread of zoonotic disease. Simply put, more species means less disease.
Biodiversity benefits business. Biodiversity is a fundamental component of long-term business survival. Businesses rely on genes, species, and ecosystem services as critical inputs into their production processes and depend on healthy ecosystems to treat and dissipate waste, maintain soil and water quality, and help control the air composition. There is a great potential for the economy to grow and become more resilient by ensuring biodiversity.
Biodiversity provides livelihood. Biodiversity provides building blocks for sustainable food health and livelihood security system. It is the feedstock for the biotechnology industry and a climate-resilient farming system. Triple goals of conventions are conservation, sustainable use, and equitable sharing of benefits. So, biodiversity plays on a crucial role in human nutrition through its influence on world food production, as it ensures the sustainable productivity of soils and provides the genetic resources for all crops, livestock, and marine species harvestable food. Forests store and purify drinking water, protect watershed, mitigate the natural disaster, and control erosion. Cycle nutrients help to store carbon and to regulate climate and contribute to the national and regional economies, both directly through revenue, value adding, and employment. Healthy forests store carbon, host animals, and support communities. And last but not the least, diverse forests to do everything better. More biodiversity improves soil carbon storage. More biodiversity improves soil carbon storage, and rich forests store twice as much carbon as plantation with one only species. Ecosystem therefore must be protected and restored, and not only for the good of nature, but also for the communities that depend on them.
Biodiversity protect us. Why is that biodiversity can protect us? It's because biodiversity makes the earth habitable. Biodiverse ecosystem also provide nature-based solution that buffer us in any natural disasters such as floods and storm. Biodiversity also protect us to clean our water, purify our air, maintain the soil, regulate the climate, recycle nutrients, and provide us with food. Natural ecosystem also provide a foundation for economic growth, human health, and prosperity. Our fate as a species is deeply connected to the fate of our natural environment. For today's World Mangroves for Human Activity, it increasingly put people and home lives at risk from floods and sea level rise. So based on that, if today's mangroves were lost, 18 million more people will be flooded every year, and also it has damages property. So as you can see, as ecosystems are increasingly threatened by human activity. Now, acknowledging the benefits of biodiversity is the first step in ensuring that we look after it. Because as we all know, biodiversity matters. And as a society, we should protect it, and in doing so, protect our long-term interests.
People need biodiversity. Biodiversity is the amazing variety of life on Earth. It includes all organisms, plants, animals, and us. We are part of this rich web of life. Biodiversity is the source of our fuel, medicines, and shelter. Every breath we take, every drop we drink, every bite we eat, it all comes from nature.